Good evening. Coming up on Christmas time, something that, whether we'll admit it or not, in the back of our mind is gifts and giving and receiving gifts. So tonight, for just a few minutes, I want to talk about a gift we've been given and the responsibility we have from it. If you want to follow along, I'm going to be in James 2, starting in verse 14. James 2:14. What good is it, my brothers, if someone says he has faith but does not have works? Can that faith save him? If a brother or sister is poorly clothed and lacking in daily food, and one of you says to him, "Go in peace, be warm and filled," without giving them the things needed for the body, what good is that? So also faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. As you can see from this verse, we've been given a gift, and it doesn't tell you right away what that gift is, but I'm sure you figured it out. We've been given the gift of faith. Each of us, through some way, received our faith, whether that was passed down from a parent, whether that was given through someone sharing the gospel with you. We all have been given faith in some form. But James tells us that it doesn't end there. He says that faith asks, can faith save you? And then he goes on to tell you that we have a responsibility, that if a brother or sister is poorly clothed, to clothe them, to give food. And that's something we need to make sure we're remembering. That our gift does come with a price, and that price is something that God asks of us to pay to help our fellow man, and we have to take action. Think about the world around us and how you're spreading the gospel. A lot of the time, I've said this before, we see it as just preaching and saying, "Hey, do you want to come to church?" But we forget that our example does so much, and it's not just our example in, "No, I don't think I'll go get drinks after work. I don't think I'll engage in that crude joking." It's also how we respond to tragedy. We've had a lot of tragedies in our country and in the world as a whole throughout the past year or two. And are we doing more than just sharing on Facebook saying, "Thoughts and prayers to the victims"? Can you imagine someone on the outside who isn't a Christian looking at Christianity as a whole and seeing their 100 Facebook friends who are Christians saying, "Thoughts and prayers to the victims," and then forgetting about it about 2 hours later after they share it? We need to make sure, as James tells us, that we're actually doing these things, not just saying the words, but actually clothing those who need it, actually giving the food to those who have need, and not just saying, "I'll be praying for you," and then forgetting about it with our busy lives. And a lot of the times, we'll catch ourselves grumbling that our country is just losing God. We're losing all our morals, and we forget that a lot of that blame is coming on ourselves. We're not doing the things that we need to be doing half the time. And this is every one of us individually. We're not doing the things that God's commanded of us. And then sometimes we blame Him for losing that. And finally, it really doesn't have to be the big picture. If you read back through the passage, it says, "Go in peace, be warm and filled, without giving them the things needed for the body. What good is that?" This is talking about individual scenarios. James isn't telling us here, go out and completely solve world hunger in Africa. Instead, he's telling us, take the individual scenarios you see. Take the 5 families we're supporting at the elementary school. Use World Bible School. Reach out to that one person and spend 20 minutes of your day teaching them. Do the small things to show that God is still very much alive in Christianity. Christianity is still helping others, and our country is still surrounded by Christian morals. Tonight, if you have any need at all, if you have any questions about what you can do to start a journey where you can be living the Christian life and being an example, or if you just like the prayers of the church for any reason at all, please come forward as we stand and sing. Have you been to Jesus?